Hello everyone. I wanted to show more of what's going on behind me, out behind my window here, than me today, because it's very fitting for what we're going to be talking about. You can see it's quite a winter wonderland out there, and I like snow, especially when I get to look at it through my window and I'm not out in it. So what the 11th chapter of Be Prepared, Not Scared is all about is clothing in an emergency. Now, that is not something that people often think about. When you think about preparing for an emergency, you don't think, oh, what clothes should I store? That's just not something that automatically comes to mind. So it's something that you should think about, and it's something that oftentimes you have a lot of things at home already, so that you just need to put them in an organized place. You just need to inventory a little bit about what you have to make sure that you fill in some missing pieces. Clothing in an emergency is really important for a lot of different reasons, actually. It's important for protection, to keep our bodies protected and safe. It's important for temperature control, either warmth or coolness, whatever it might be. If we need to stay warm, if we need to stay cold. It's important for modesty, for confidence, to feel a little bit better about what's going on during these crazy times. It's an important thing to think about. So one thing that I want you to think about in storing things is that layers are the most effective way to prepare for something like what we have outside here, the cold weather. It's more important to have multiple layers of different thicknesses, different materials, and different warmth, because the hot air or the air is actually trapped between those layers, and that's what keeps us warm, versus one just really bulky, really heavy, really warm something. You also need to think a little bit about things that we wear on our feet, because when you are wearing a heavy boot, it actually adds about 10 pounds to you to carry each of those boots adds about an extra 10 pounds. So it makes it very difficult to walk places if you're wearing a lot of heavy things on your feet versus just some layers. So those are all things to consider. Now, one thing that I always do during any kind of time that I'm looking for clothing is I always head to the thrift store. That's my first stop, is the thrift store, and that should be your first stop if you are thinking about providing for clothing needs during an emergency, because you are going to be able to get so much more for your dollar at a thrift store. And not only that, but you can get multiple sizes. Because if there's an extended emergency, guess what's going to happen? Our sizes are going to change. We're going to most likely lose weight. So you might need some different sizes. And then often children are for sure going to change size. They're going to grow during a long-term emergency. So saving multiple sizes or storing multiple sizes of things can be quite expensive unless you're getting them secondhand. So what I did is I just went to the clothing store and I said, all right, my daughter right now is 12. She's going to be getting bigger, and during the time we're going to store this. So I'm going to get what size she is now, what size she's going to be in a couple years, the size she's going to be in a couple years from there. And I just got, a couple long sleeve shirts, a couple pair of long pants in each of those sizes for $1, $2 a piece, for almost nothing. And we're storing them so that we'll have something for her, regardless of the size that she is when an emergency occurs. So those are just some things to think about. I really encourage you to join me in 2 days on Wednesday for the book launch event. I'm going to be sharing a lot about really the starting point of this book, how I started it, why I started it, and what I hope it will do for you, as well as some nitty-gritty details about each chapter and each area that I really want to encourage you to really take on during the coming year. So please join us for the book launch event. Please buy the book. I've already had some rave reviews, people just saying this is exactly what I needed. This is the answer to overwhelm. This is the answer to where do I start. People who are using it for their ward preparedness efforts, for their neighborhood preparedness efforts, for their family preparedness efforts. So please get the book. You really are going to love it, and it's going to answer and simplify a lot of things for you in the preparedness world. So thank you so much. You just get one more day of me, the 12th day of preparedness tomorrow. See you then.